Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. A Winter's Tale, Episode 1. Imagine the coldest you have ever been. Imagine a forest far to the north in winter. The snow is falling thickly and it's getting dark. This is where our story starts. A group of bedraggled, exhausted people were following a man. He was their king, but he was lost. They had been out in the winter weather for a long time, and they were growing hopeless. Inside, they were feeling, has he gone mad? Are we going to die out here? I should never have followed him. I should never have agreed to come on this journey. And he was thinking, I cannot bear to look at them. I cannot turn around and face them now. And he prayed for some help. He prayed for a sign, an indication of which way to go. And then a small white Arctic fox appeared in front of him. She just ran out there and looked up in his face, and then walked off through the trees to the left, stopped, turned round, looked at him again, as if to say, follow me. Brisingamen paused. I asked for a sign. Perhaps this is it. So he chose to follow the fox and called back to the others, this way, we're going this way. None of them answered. They didn't even look up. They just trudged behind in his footsteps. Every so often, the fox would turn round and look again to see if they were following her. And after a little while, Brisingamen saw through the trees and through the snowstorm a light. As they came closer, he saw that it was a wooden cabin. The fox vanished. The door of the cabin opened, and a warm golden light fell onto the snow. And a voice, a woman, said, come in quickly and welcome. With great relief, they stepped into this little cabin. They were dripping snow on the floor. Their hands were so numb and blue that she had to help them to take off their cloaks and get their boots off. She pulled in stools and benches close to the fire, and they sat numbly staring into the flames, but with a feeling of immense relief. Thank you, said Brisingamen. I don't know what we'd have done if we hadn't found this place. I don't know how we found it. She said, I sent Askai to lead you here. The fox. And then she said something even more surprising. You're expected. Relax. Expected. What did that mean? Meanwhile, the woman had built up the fire with a plenty of logs. She had a great cooking pot over the fire and was stirring it occasionally. On the table, she had a big kettle of spicy warm tea and poured them all a drink as they sat warming themselves by the fire. Everyone, that is, apart from one. Walter Grumblebrow sat as far away from the fire as he could because, like all scarecrows, He had a terror for fire. Dizzy, she had been trying to help and work and do something useful almost before she'd got her boots off. John Scarcey, he sat on his own, kind of curled into himself, as though he was trying to keep all his own warmth to himself. Tetty Borful, she sat talking without stopping. Nobody listened to her. They had stopped listening to her long ago. It was always a boring, endless stream of whatever was running through her head that she hadn't even thought about how to filter. The king, he was older and carried responsibility and grief on his shoulders. Euphemulus stood a little anxiously at the door. She couldn't immediately see a place to sit down, and she wasn't surprised until the woman noticed and welcomed her in and asked her to sit in a particular place. Tom Eatings, as soon as he stepped through that door, he noticed the fruitcake on the table. So, all of them were warming up by the fire. The woman asked all of their names and told them, "My name is Theodosia, and I'm a..." Oh, well, we'll come to that. She poured them the hot, spicy tea, and they held it in their hands until they were warmed through. And then she found wooden bowls and spoons, and out of that big pot over the fire she ladled the most delicious, thick, warming soup. And eventually something in that soup made Tetty Borful be quiet. Now, when they had finished the soup, she said to them, "It's late and you are very tired. I want you to rest and recover this night, and tomorrow there will be time to talk." And she found sheepskins and blankets and pillows and found places somehow for them all to lay down and sleep. The cabin was lit by candles and firelight. And when she saw that they were all comfortable, she walked around and blew out each candle one by one. And as she walked around the cabin, she was saying, "Sleep well, sleep well." And then she settled herself by the fire and she began to sing very softly, "Sleep well, sleep deep, may your dreams come and find you. Sleep well, sleep deep, may this night only guide you. Sleep well, sleep deep." And when she could tell by the sound of their breathing that each of them had passed into sleep, she then began to sing quietly, inviting the dreams to come in to the cabin. Because Theodosia was a dream guide, and it was no coincidence that they had arrived in this dreaming cabin. So she sang in inviting the dreams from the woods, and the dreams from the stars, and the dreams from the snow and the ice, and the dreams from the past and the future, and the dreams from all the worlds. And she sat watching as the dreams slipped inside the cabin and gently entered each one of her sleeping guests. And then she took ash and she covered the fire with the ash. She smeared the fire, and she said the smearing fire blessing. May everyone in this house sleep well, sleep well, sleep well. And when everything and everyone was at peace, Theodosia herself